Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Reading from Srimad Bhagavad Gita, chapter number 2, text number 45. Traigunya Vishaya Veda Nistraigunya Bhava Arjuna Nirdvandva Nitya Sattvasto Niryoga Kshema Atmavan. Lord Sri Krishna says here, the Vedas mainly deal with the three modes of material nature. Traigunya Vishaya Veda. Vishaya means here subject. Vishayam, subject. Three modes of material nature, which is Sattva Guna, Rajo Guna, Tamo Guna. Three gunas. So, Nistraigunya Bhava Arjuna. Nistraiguna, you come above these three modes of material nature, because within this material nature there are dualities: happiness, misery, heat, cold, insult and praise, which we have mentioned several times. Nirdvando. Nirdvando means there are dualities. It happens. So more often it baffles you from your happiness. Sometimes you enjoy happiness. After some time, immediately some suffering comes. So all these actions are happening, or the results are coming based on our karma, rendered based on these three modes of material nature. This material modes gives you more often only pain, not pleasure. Occasionally you find some happiness, and that happiness is just a relief from the miseries. It is not really called happiness. Under the three modes of material nature, there are 10 items comes under, which we regularly and every day use it. Which are they? Kala, karma, cha, janma, cha. Time, karma, and birth, water, food, mantra, association with people, and recreation, means enjoyment articles that we use. All these things come under the three modes of material nature, which means there are mantras, there are food, there are books, there are time, place. All these things comes in the mode of goodness. Some activities are in the mode of passion, some are in the mode of goodness, some books are in the mode of goodness, some are in the passion, some are in the ignorance, and there are some time in the mode of goodness, passion, ignorance, water in the mode of goodness, passion, ignorance. For example, alcohols in the mode of ignorance, and bubbly drinks in the mode of passion, plain water, purified water, and juices in the mode of goodness, meat, fish, eggs in the mode of ignorance, spicy vegetables in the mode of passion, and other rightly spiced sattva, boiled sabjis or vegetables and food is on the mode of goodness. So in this way, there are 10 items. It is described by Srimad Bhagavatam, situated in the mode of goodness, passion, ignorance. If you go to the casino, it's a mode of ignorance. If you go for some pilgrimage things, it's a mode of goodness. And if you go to brothel and various bars, it's a mode of ignorance. And in between is something called various other sightseeing programs and all. It's in the mode of passion. So, Lord Krishna is telling here, you rise above these three modes of material nature. Why? Because all these things are going to come back to you in the form of misery. Therefore I said, you have only occasional happiness. It's not a constant happiness. Now, the Vedas explains dharma, artha, kama, moksha. So first you perform certain kinds of worship to the superior beings, maybe demigods or semi-demigods. You worship them and ask them the dharma. No, artha means money. So when you have money, then you go to enjoyment. Kama. Try to fulfill all your desires by having that economy. Then you go to moksha when you are tired about all these things. On old age, you desire, because old age is so miserable that you naturally think that you want to die and don't want to come back to this material world again. You say that I never want, even after 7 birth or 7 life, I do not want to take birth as a human being or come to this material world at all. So these things that we think sometimes. So this is all because of duality. Duality means, as I said, happiness and misery. So anxiety, fear, all these things are happening. So what we are actually telling, or Krishna is actually addressing as, that there are dharma, artha, kama, mokshas. The Vedas mainly deal with these 4 things. And therefore you need to perform certain sadhanas to gain this. So without performing sadhana is not possible. Therefore more often you spend your time in worshipping and spending money for your homas and yajnas and chanting mantras and traveling to different locations of pilgrimage sites especially, or the pious rivers to go and take a shower, take a bath. So in all these places that you more often go visit, so these are called sadhana. Without sadhana, you cannot gain anything material achievement. So even material accomplishment is very hard without performing certain worship to the superior beings. It's not possible. So what Lord says that come out of that, because these are under the 3 modes of material nature. So as long it is under the 3 modes of material nature, it is going to give you constant disturbances, conveniences, inconveniences, so much anxiety. What is next? What is next? Especially when you're old. So there are stages of life. In all these stages of life, you have different anxiety. When you are a boy, you have a different anxiety that is about your playing or your sports, your study in the school, the results coming in, your the chastisement of the parents. A particular kind of anxiety is always there. When you turn into youth, right, there also you have problems. The workplace, getting a job, harassment by the colleagues and the directors, harassment and chastisements. You have a particular problem. Thereafter, the family life you enter, there are also particular differences from one another. Differences between mother-in-law, father-in-law, and wife and children. There are so many disturbances there. Then you come to the old age, full of problems. Why? Because the body itself does not cooperate with you. The way that you wanted to live, it doesn't allow you to live. These are because of we haven't transcended from the 3 modes of material nature. Within the 3 modes of material nature, we can only expect anxiety and miseries. As I said, occasionally some relief you feel because you have certain things obtained for that purpose, or because you obtain those things, you feel some relief. But that is mistaken as the happiness. That is the first foolishness. So the happiness is actually something different, which is reserved only in the service of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Why? Because you are the part and parcels of Him. Therefore, your actual happiness is dependent on Him. Therefore, he tells in Srimad Bhagavatam that Bhaktyaham ekaya grahyaya Shraddhayatma priyasadam Bhakti punadi mam nishta Sopakan abhi sambhava. He says, only by bhakti process one can obtain me. Shraddhayatma priyasadam. One who does that with Shraddha, full faith, and he became very dear to me. Priyasadam. Sadam means devotee. Priya means very dear to me. So that devotee is very dear to me. Bhakti punadi mam nishta. You shall, or that bhakti has to be rendered with nishta. Nishta means commitment. With full commitment when they perform by following the rules and regulations. Even a Chandala, Pakan means Chandala, Abhi Sambhava, he will be purified. Dog eater, Chandala means dog eater living in a place where many dogs are there. And this guy also eats dogs, just like Philippines, Koreans, and Chinese people, they do. Chandalas. Even they take up my process with faith and devotion. They become dear to me. So bhakti is beyond the three modes of material nature. Therefore, Krishna is keep telling us not to come under the material principles of life, which would only give you anxiety. For example, Srimad Bhagavatam. Srimad Bhagavatam is not one of the 18 Puranas. Before it is called Bhagavata Purana. Bhagavata Purana was revised by Srila Vyasadeva on the order of the Supreme Lord. Therefore, now it is not called Bhagavata Purana. It is called Srimad Bhagavatam. Srimad, which indicates the Supreme Goddess of Fortune. And Bhagavatam, about the Supreme Brahman, the personality of Godhead, Lord Sri Krishna. About him, all his Leelas, 10 avatars, 33 avatars, 34 avatars are actually mentioned there, including the future incarnations, with full Bhakti Lada. Bhakti Lada means creeper. So if we can actually take up the process of devotional service, which is directed by Lord Sri Krishna to Vyasadeva, therefore he compiled and altered the Bhagavata Purana into Srimad Bhagavatam. So that Srimad Bhagavatam is beyond the modes of material nature. Otherwise, Nirdvando Nitya Sattvastu Niryoga Kshema Atma. Always is going to put you in duality. Duality means most of the time is unhappiness and anxiety. Therefore, Krishna is telling Nirdvando Nitya Sattvastu. Remain always in the pure mode of goodness, which is called Vasudeva Sattvam. In fourth canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, Lord Shiva actually says, Sattvam Vishuddham Vasudeva Sabdidam. The Vishuddha Sattva is the pure consciousness, which is Vasudeva consciousness. So that consciousness, if we take up, in other words, if you take up the devotional service, you will be situated in that pure consciousness, which is Vasudeva consciousness. So Vasudeva is the expansion of Kashyapa Muni, and Devaki Maya is Atiti. They again came as Devaki and Vasudeva, Kashyapa Muni and Atiti Mata, who gave birth to Lord Sri Krishna. Right? And Vasudeva had that consciousness. Therefore, Vasudeva appeared to him. Vasudeva means all pervading. So we have to take up the process of devotional service that is not within these three modes of material nature. At present, whatever sadhana we are doing, either it is situated in the mode of passion, or it is situated in the mode of ignorance, or situated in the mode of goodness. Either any of these modes of worship that you accept, we are going to be in duality. Duality means unhappiness. Everything is uncertain. Even after working very hard, we remain more often only unhappy. The agitation comes from somewhere, and you become so in anxiety, you don't know what to do. So don't follow any human beings as your God. No way. God is not a human being. He is spiritually powerful, transcendental being. And human beings are formed according to God's form. Man is made in the image of God. We have told that several times. So do not follow any human beings, any Devi Devatas. If you are actually looking for eternal, constant, consistent happiness, so here is the process. This process shall be accepted. If you do not, that is fine too. But we have to face these dualities of this material. So we are giving you the idea because of our practical experiences, our all Acharyas' recommendations. Madhava Acharya, Ramanuja Acharya, right? Nivaraka Swami, Vishnu Swami, Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati, and Srila Prabhupada, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Lord Nityananda Prabhu, Vyasadeva, Brahmaji, Narada Muni, everyone is telling to take up the devotion service. You think they are all screwed up mentally? No. They are the most powerful leaders of the universe. Therefore, it is essential for us to remain happy, not by depending on the paraphernalia, the objects situated in the three modes of material nature. It is only going to give us hard time. So that is what this verse explains. Nirdando nitya sattvasto niryoga kshema atmavan, and situate yourself in the soul platform. So you give up all these materialistic ideas. Take up this pure spiritual life, and your consciousness will be pure spiritual. That's it. You will remain happy forever. So you will not run after gain and loss. Or after taking up the process of devotion service, you never face any loss and gain in this material world, but success in spiritual life. Even if it is not, wait for